Hello everyone, this is Yoko. On this channel, I'll be sharing information in English that I've gathered because events happening in China often don't get covered in other countries' media. I welcome your comments on the content of the videos as I've sourced information from multiple media outlets. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel and showing your support. Today, I'm discussing the case of a British businessman who went missing 6 years ago. It has recently emerged that he was actually serving a prison sentence in China. Despite disappearing 6 years ago, it turns out he had been doing business in China for 40 years. However, it has now been revealed that he was actually detained on suspicion of espionage. According to the businessman's family, he insists he hasn't done anything wrong. He apparently started doing business in China during a time when there were very few foreigners, and it was a challenging period to start a business. It seems he had been involved with China even before the period known as the Reform and Opening Up. When I first went to China, foreigners were highly respected just for being foreigners. However, it appears he had been doing business in China even before that time, which likely garnered him significant attention as someone conducting business between China and foreign entities. By the way, although he's referred to as a businessman, he was actually a consultant and had dealings with major companies like GM and Pfizer. Presumably, he had considerable connections within the Chinese Communist Party. Companies looking to invest in China likely needed to negotiate with the CCP through him. He seems to have been an important figure in such matters. Therefore, at least in the past, he supported foreign companies investing in China and was a valuable asset to the Communist Party. However, after conducting business in China for 40 years, he was accused of espionage and is currently incarcerated. There are 2 points to this story. First, it's common for individuals arrested for espionage in China to have had long involvement in Chinese-related businesses or close relationships with Chinese companies or employees. For example, there have been cases where employees of influential entities like Itochu Corporation were detained in China. Many may recall such incidents. Additionally, there have been cases where executives of Astellas Pharma were detained in China. Many may remember this as well. These Astellas Pharma executives were also involved in Chinese-related businesses for a long time. Therefore, without prior knowledge, it might seem puzzling why individuals who contributed to the Chinese economy would receive such treatment. In China, connections with influential figures within the Chinese Communist Party are more crucial than having a good business model, product quality, or excellent service. Therefore, whether running a large corporation or a small one in China, connections within the government are indispensable. These connections within the government play a significant role and can greatly influence businesses. Therefore, inevitably, continuing business in China for an extended period will entangle one with the Chinese Communist Party. This is where the danger lies. The dynamics within the CCP are unstable, characterized by power struggles akin to a tug-of-war within the party. Hence, from the perspective of foreign companies, if influential figures they rely on within the CCP fall from grace, doing business in China becomes challenging. Alternatively, as part of power struggles within the CCP, there might be targeting of foreigners or foreign companies with inappropriate connections to the CCP to overthrow someone within the CCP. From an external viewpoint, it might seem like foreign companies are being targeted, but the real objective is to undermine the position of influential figures dealing with foreign companies within the CCP, ultimately disrupting their influence within the party. This is the true purpose of capturing foreigners and obtaining testimony exposing inappropriate relationships between individuals within the CCP and foreign businesses or agents. When doing business in China, it's easy to establish connections with individuals within the Chinese Communist Party, but unfortunately, there's also the potential to become entangled in internal party affairs. As mentioned earlier, individuals deeply involved in Chinese business over the years, like employees of Itochu Corporation in Japan or executives of Astellas, are often perceived to have close ties with China, making them highly susceptible to detention. Therefore, while it's now evident that this British individual was serving time in prison, his extensive business in China and extensive network within the Communist Party might have drawn the attention of the Xi Jinping administration. Essentially, those who are perceived to have contributed the most to the Chinese economy tend to end up detained. While it has come to light that this British individual disappeared 6 years ago and was detained in China, there is a high likelihood that others have faced similar situations. In fact, there are reports of organizations in the United States supporting individuals detained in China. According to these organizations, there are approximately 200 Americans detained in China. However, since this has not been officially acknowledged, it is not certain. This uncertainty is concerning because, similar to the case of this British individual, many foreigners may be secretly detained without their situations coming to light. There may also be Japanese individuals in similar situations. In Japan, there is a tendency not to report information unfavorable to the Chinese Communist Party. Therefore, if a Japanese person goes missing in China and that information does not reach the general public in Japan, there may be similar cases that we are unaware of. While in Japan, having close ties with North Korea may bring about political ramifications, the relationship with China is different. In Japan, there are individuals with close ties to China regardless of their political affiliation. However, if Japanese individuals go missing in China and that information is not widely circulated, there is a possibility of a situation similar to the North Korean abduction cases persisting. Therefore, if there are cases of people going missing in China, it is crucial to widely disseminate such information and advise against unnecessary travel to China. That concludes our discussion for today. Until next time.